I'm going to talk about my obsession with creativity. I've always been drawing or painting or sculpting. I did this self portrait when I was 9, and I still feel like that kid, just hairier and greyer. Creativity isn't a gift, it's not a talent. It's a collection of skills that are practiced and learned mostly through trial and error after error after error. I usually explain that my creative abilities are a chemical imbalance in my brain. Creating keeps me entertained and out of trouble, but it's similar to a drug. The brain in general is wired towards obsession and addiction. When it's had a surge of dopamine through a particular stimulus, it craves to achieve that state again and again and again. That 9-year-old kid, for the most part, enjoyed school, particularly the arts, so much so that I qualified to be a primary school teacher. However, this only lasted for 3 years as I realised that I didn't want to be the teacher. I wanted to carry on being the kid, that child that crafted and created. 15 years ago, my obsession was with caricaturing. It's a way to satisfy my creative ego, but it also engages an audience and you get public validation. It makes people smile and giggle, and that makes me feel good. However, you're still the main validator of your craft. In 2011, I was living in New Zealand and the Rugby World Cup had gripped the nation. For 18 months I drew nothing but thick-necked egg chasers. I did this with the intent for commercial validation, a big break, an opportunity where my creativity could be my career. I didn't want to make a fortune, just enough to pay the bills. But despite a number of promising opportunities and leads, that didn't happen. There were issues with copyright and intellectual property, lawyers and legal jargon, broken promises and failed communications. My creative juices had been polluted by reality. I felt drained of my desire to create and celebrate people's features. I needed a new obsession, a new drug, and I found it with paper toys. To briefly explain, a paper toy starts as a simple piece of paper. I create a design, then it gets printed, cut out, folded and stuck together, and bing bang bong, you've made your very own character that won't shout or burp or giggle or fart or make too much of a mess. The idea isn't original. I remember similar crafts being on the back of cereal boxes when I was growing up, but now I was in a position to be able to design them. It was like a lightning bolt, part of my brain that I'd yet to discover. A big bang where I saw an entire universe that could be made of paper toys. At the time, my kids had their own obsessions with Lego and Minecraft, and I saw that my ideas could fit alongside these worlds too. As I designed my first crafts, I found I was the school kid again, who crafted things. And these crafts could potentially reach a bigger audience, kids aged 5 to 95 who were trying to find their creative voices. I juggled a full-time job and a young family alongside my creative cravings. There never seemed to be enough time to satisfy my papercraft addiction. However, my responsibilities overlapped nicely. Once I'd designed a paper toy, the kids and I would make them together. I started to see bigger values in my crafts. They could be used to engage and bring families together with a shared activity that was creative, educational, affordable and fun. My daughter has the same creative, crafty chemical balance in her brain, so my first series of paper toys were inspired by her. Next, I needed a channel, an online marketplace for arts and crafts, to share my paper universe with the world. I discovered what I thought was the perfect platform with Etsy, but this brought more work and less play. I had to start advertising and marketing, favouriting items, branding, terms and conditions, shipping, social media and SEO. These all became bitter but necessary obstacles that I needed to swallow and digest if I wanted my obsession to be a full-time occupation. Like most creatives, I get distracted by other ideas and run away from these liabilities. I'd rather be designing my next paper toy than spending time tweaking keywords and subverting social media algorithms. My happy place was playing with my crayons, chasing paper toy butterflies. Making paper toys is like having cake with no toppings. It's delicious, but having icing and cream and a cherry on the top would make it even better. So I still craved commercial validation for my crafts. 4 years ago, the Rugby World Cup came round again, and I had talks with a company who thought there was an opportunity to have my work published. However, nothing materialised, and the taste of icing and cherries and cream eluded me. These characters were designed for the mental health charity Beyond Blue. I've gone through periods of depression with my craft. The dark side of my ego pokes me. You're a 42-year-old who faffs around making paper toys. What on earth are you doing with your life? What are you contributing to the world? I've yet to find a satisfying answer for these questions, and so my passion persists. Next, I slammed my head against the commercial brick wall with a more local obsession, the footy. I created mascots for all 18 AFL teams. Emails and mail-outs to clubs, sponsors, publishers, toy companies and individual players still saw my cake icing-free and cherryless. However, I'm slowly figuring out that maybe cake by itself is enough. Maybe I don't need outside commercial validation to feel a sense of achievement. Mastering my craft could be enough. At least I can control how I feel about that. I can't change things that are outside of my control. So although I persist with social media and try to make contacts and network, I realise that it's not what drives me. It's not my drug. Creating is my drug. I make characters that I have a passion for and that my children have an interest in. I'm starting to find a balance and inner peace by embracing that 9-year-old kid who loved to create, and I'm having workshops for other kids like him. 9-year-old me didn't create for commercial success. He didn't craft for money. He enjoyed the universe that his imagination created, and that was enough. There's 120 paper toys on this final slide, and I've created nearly 400 in the last 8 years, roughly one a week. At 42, I reckon I'm in my summer years, and I have another 42 years left to enjoy my passion and a few thousand more paper toy crafts. Obsession can lead to self-destruction, but passion can be a constant pleasure.